Okay, so we're looking at the G box and the long and the short pattern. Okay, so the long pattern for the G that we're looking at is here, whether it has the cutout or not. The cutout means we're going to use all open strings that we can get, and the short G pattern, I'm just going to square it off down here. It also includes these modes. So starting from a G, we just go up a pentatonic scale there. Okay, so we have like our G-shaped root, but then we have an A minor shaped second there. Okay, is that, you hear that? It's actually a G-shaped C, so it's, okay. So we could go around the circle there. We're just starting from G now, a G shape. Okay, it happens to be a G-shaped C, but remember that came from the original G down here, the real deal G, right? The key of G. You just move that shape all the way up here and you get a G-shaped C. So the short pattern for the G again has an unplayable note if we had a fret nut there or a capo, such as where we play when we're playing the normal G down here. We can't get that F sharp on the B string, on the G string rather. So we're going to play the long pattern. The long pattern looks like the short pattern until we get to the A string shape, where we branch off into A 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2 without the cutout. With the cutouts, just root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 root. We talked about that. So that's what the long patterns are and the short patterns are. Okay? And that's it. That's what it's all about. And that those long patterns give you a freedom. They give you a definite freedom to play the patterns. The short patterns are great because they follow the word caged. So you've got your cage system and it's all tight knit. You know, it all fits together so perfectly. Now what I've got here is the cage system rolled out. Okay, so you'll see here a D and a C there, and an A and a G. Okay, and an E and a D there. C, A, G, E, D. You see how the cage system fits together top and bottom, but on the top, then that's the pentatonic cage system. Above it is the modal cage system that I use, that I made. I'm sure people play it all the time, but they just haven't kind of defined it as a cage system. And there's some differences, you know, where we have this is almost like, these are like cage ladders, not cage boxes. Notice the small cages will count all the time. So in the D cage here, the short regular cage system D cage, we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3, 4. But in the long D pattern, which is also in this banner, this D 2, 3, 4 is the D string shaped pattern. It's the long pattern. I included this. I extended this to include the short pattern anyway, so you can see 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 7 over here too from the short pattern. So it's like a ladder. It includes everything, and you have your choice of how to play it. The good thing about the long patterns is that they have the modal, the modal fourth, which is the C pattern. Where is that? Right over here. I didn't get to it until the end here. C 4, 5, 6. Because of the way that this is also rolled out. So this is the Locrian long box. Okay. The way that this rolled out. So how did they roll out? What do we mean by roll out? We could spell cage C-A-G-E-D there, but in actuality, okay, they're overlapping. You see how they're overlapping? You know, so the D cage and the C cage share the 3/4. Okay, the C cage and the A cage share the 5. The A cage and the G cage share the 6. The G cage and the E cage share the 7 and the root buddies. Half-step buddies there. They stick together in the regular cage system. In the modal cage system, we separate them. So what we're looking at on the top is fifths. The fifth of D is A. The fifth of A is E. The string shape or caged fifth of E isn't B, it's C shape. Okay? Because if you're playing an E here, and we want to go to its fifth, we're going to do a C-shaped B. And then to its fourth would be an A shape. So the fourth of E is A right there. That's why you have E, A, C. And you have, so we have that. So we have the fifth is C, and there's your C. The fifth of C is G. There's your G box. The fifth of G is D. There's your D box. That's why you have DD here, GG there. The fifth of D is A. You have AA there. Okay, so the regular caged is in fifth, but the long boxes, how are they going? More or less in fourths because they're longer. The fourth of E is A, the fourth of A is D, the fourth of D is G, that kind of thing. The fourth of G is C, more or less. Except when you get between, you know, E and C are always kind of strange. They're kind of weird in the cage system. So in the long boxes, the way I have it here, the fifth of E is C, and so it's kind of reversed for those two guys. But and as you can see, C to E, the fourth of C is E. So again, with the C box, there's kind of a reciprocal relationship there. It kind of folds back, changes directions, kind of thing. But again, we have the fourth of D is C. So these go in fourths when you roll them out, but they overlap. Each one of them has their own modal system. So what this lesson is about we have familiar chord shapes to play. So let's say in the D box we would have a D shaped C, which is root 5 root 3 there, and then we'd have an E minor shaped D minor. Okay, so the E minor shaped D minor would be 6, 2, 4. There's kind of like an E minor shaped if you had the fret nut there. And we have a G minor shaped E minor. So remember, what's E minor in the key of C? It would be if it's a G shape, it's going to be root. So it's going to be 3, 5, 7. So there it is. There's our G minor shape, 3, 5, 7. 3, and it goes into the next cage towards the fret nut, which goes from G to A minor shaped. It should be. So it'd be 3, 5, 7, 3, 5. Oh, where's that 7? Right there. Okay, so it'd be 7, 3, 5 right there. There's your A minor shaped. Now that there's something going on there, but anyway, 3, 5, 7. Yeah, here's your A minor shaped E minor there. So it'd be going, when you're going this way, you're going opposite of the word cage. The word cage backwards, which is an increasing pentatonic scale. Okay, so if we're in an E minor shape here, we're going to go to a G, the next one, because it's increasing. And then from G, we go to the A shape. And from A, we go to the C shape. If we're going the other way around, it spells cage. C-A-G-E-D. Which goes backwards. Crazy, right? But you get used to it. You got to clear your head and practice it and get used to it. It just all makes sense. All right, so the subject of today's lesson is as follows. When we have these familiar modal shape circles here, and they're all basically, that would be in the key of C. You could do it in the key of A. You could do it in the key of D. It would be a little easier for me. You know what I'm saying? We used to do this. I used to do this a lot. Let's say the key of G would be. As opposed to. But it's all the same thing, just in a different key. But when we go to the long patterns now, the question is, where the familiar chord shapes go? And if we look at the root 2-3 pattern, I can play it down here on my open because I have a nice C down here. So it's where are the modes? Where's the 1, where's the 4, where's the 5? Okay, and by moving the pattern up, we get to the 4th. By moving the pattern down, we get to the 5th. So that's where they are. So if I want to play the 4th, of course I can follow the regular diatonic that I just played, starting one string up, right? So you got, well, that was a little musical thing, but you do the same thing on the next string up. So I can just jump into, you can always just jump into that pattern, okay? So it's, you can play it like that, but an easier way, if we were looking for familiar chord shapes and things like that, would be just move the pattern up. So what's underneath root 2-3? When we move this bottom string up, we're going to have 5, 6, 7 coming back in underneath as the new bottom string. So the 4th of this pattern is actually the 5th of this string shape, right? It's the 5A pattern. Okay, so the 4th of the root is the 5A pattern. It is the 4th of its string shape. The 4th of E is A. So we would go 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2. Okay, so that's the 4th. And notice when we go 5, 6, 7, we're on that second string, root 2, 3. So it's 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We simply took the 5, 6, 7